What if I told you a single nutrient, one most of us are already low on, could add half an hour of deep sleep per night, and we now have a randomized trial that proved it using an Oura ring? Not self-reports, not sleep diaries, actual measured deep sleep minutes. Here's exactly what the research shows, the form that worked, and the 21-day window where most of the benefit shows up. Hey everyone, Magnesium has been having a moment online for a couple of years now, and most of the claims are honestly overhyped. But buried in that noise is a 2024 clinical trial that's genuinely interesting, because for the first time, researchers used a wearable to objectively track what magnesium does to your sleep architecture, and the results were better than I expected. So in the next few minutes, I want to walk you through what the study actually found, why the form of magnesium you pick matters more than the dose, and the realistic timeline for seeing changes on your own tracker. The study was led by Heather Hausenblas and published in Sleep Medicine, X in 2024. 80 adults between 35 and 55, all with self-reported poor sleep, took either 1 gram per day of magnesium L-threonate, that's the branded form called Magtein, or a placebo, 2 hours before bed for 3 weeks. Everyone wore an Oura ring the entire time. The magnesium group showed statistically significant improvements in deep sleep score, with a p-value below 0.001. REM sleep score improved, light sleep time improved, and Oura's readiness and activity scores went up too. Participants also reported better mood, more energy, and feeling more refreshed on waking. A separate 2025 trial on magnesium bisglycinate in 155 adults found a similar pattern, significant drops in insomnia severity, with most of the gains showing up by week 2. So the 21-day frame isn't marketing, it lines up with how the data actually unfolds. Mechanistically, magnesium is doing several things at once. It acts as a GABA agonist, which is the same calming pathway that drugs like Ambien target, just much gentler. It blocks NMDA receptors, which quiets down that racing mind, can't shut off feeling. It lowers cortisol and raises melatonin at the same time, which is rare. Almost no single intervention hits both sides of the sleep-wake axis like that. And here's something most people don't know. More than half of American adults don't even hit the estimated average requirement for magnesium. So for a lot of us, supplementation isn't biohacking, it's just correcting a shortfall. This is where most people get it wrong. Magnesium oxide, the cheap stuff in most drugstore bottles, is only about 4% absorbed. It's basically a laxative. Citrate is better but can still loosen things up at higher doses. The two forms with the best evidence for sleep are glycinate, sometimes called bisglycinate, and L-threonate. L-threonate was invented at MIT specifically because it crosses the blood-brain barrier. That's the form used in the Oura trial. Glycinate is interesting for a different reason. The glycine itself drops your core body temperature by about 0.3 of a degree, which mimics the natural pre-sleep temperature drop. So you're getting 2 independent sleep mechanisms in one capsule. Here's a practical protocol grounded in the trials. For glycinate, 200 to 350 milligrams of elemental magnesium, taken 30 to 120 minutes before bed. For L-threonate, 1 gram of Magtein, which delivers around 144 milligrams of elemental magnesium, the dose used in the Oura study. Take it with a small snack to reduce any GI upset. Commit to at least 21 days before you judge it, because the data shows benefits build through weeks 2 and 3. And stack it with magnesium-rich foods during the day: pumpkin seeds, cooked spinach, almonds, black beans, dark chocolate. A quick note on safety. Magnesium has a wide safety margin for healthy people, but if you have severe kidney disease, myasthenia gravis, or certain heart conduction issues, talk to your doctor first. And if you take antibiotics, thyroid medication, or bisphosphonates, separate them from your magnesium by a few hours so absorption isn't blunted. So the headline holds up better than I expected. A modest dose of the right form of magnesium, taken consistently for 3 weeks, produced measurable gains in deep sleep on an Oura ring in a real randomized trial. It won't fix every sleep problem, and it's not a substitute for a dark, cool room and a consistent bedtime. But if you're chronically undersleeping deep stages, and you suspect you're not getting enough magnesium from food, this is one of the few supplements where the evidence and the mechanism actually line up. If you try it, track it. 3 weeks of data on your own wrist will tell you more than any video ever could. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next one.